Video Part 5. Review of Full Disclosure. Reviewing in the page window. The page window allows you to review all of the ECG stored during the recording like an electronic full disclosure. To open it, click on Page in the Review toolbar. The window is divided into two displays, a miniature single-channel presentation and an expanded 3-channel display with a background grid. You can toggle the window format back and forth between 1, only the miniature ECG, and 2, a combination screen with a single-channel display on the top half and an expanded strip on the bottom, using the full screen Expand button. Single-channel page display. The single-channel page display contains a blue highlight box surrounding one of the QRS complexes, the current beat. The time of day of that beat is displayed in the time field in the upper left corner of the window. The displayed ECG could be adjusted in these ways. To adjust the ECG so that the highlighted beat appears in the center of the page, click Center. To move the highlight box to a different beat, click on the beat. To change the channel displayed, click on the lead field and select a different channel from the list. To change the amplitude of the displayed signal, click on the gain field and select a different size from the list. To change the amount of time displayed on each page, click on the zoom field and select a different amount of time. To invert the signal in a channel or to hide it from view because the signal in one channel interferes with your visual review of another channel, go to Review, Invert Hide to open the Invert Hide window. Click on the checkbox for each channel to be inverted. Click on it again to return the signal to normal. To close the window without saving changes, click Cancel. In the single-channel display, you can visually review pages of ECG by using the Page Up and Page Down keys, by clicking on the down arrow of the scroll bar, by using the scroll button on your mouse, or by clicking the Scan button. Turn the Scan button off by clicking it again. Control the speed of the scan by pressing plus to make it faster and minus to slow it down. Expanded ECG display. The expanded display shows 3 channels of ECG in the bottom of the page window. To display expanded ECG, click the Expand button. The expanded ECG in the bottom half of the window and the single-channel display in the top half of the window are linked. The expanded strip is centered on the highlight box in the top half. If you move the highlight box, the ECG displayed in the bottom half changes appropriately. To change the amount of time that appears in the expanded mode, click the Display field in the toolbar at the center of the window and select the amount of time to be displayed. To obtain a single-page printout of the ECG on the screen, click Print in the toolbar at the top of the page window. The Print window appears. To print the ECG with the current beat centered in a single-channel, miniaturized format, click on the Beat-Centered button. To print with the current beat in the center of the top line of the single-channel, miniaturized format, click on the Beat on Top Line button. To close the print window without printing, click Cancel. Relabeling in the page display. The type of relabeling performed is determined by setting in the Mode field. Choices are single beat relabels just the current highlighted beat to whatever label you choose, removing the beat from whatever template and bin it was in, and installing it in a new template in its new morphology. All matches relabels the template to whatever label you choose. It is removed from its present bin and established as a template in its new morphology. All matches to that template have the new label. The relabel buttons include A for artifact, V for ventricular, N for normal, S for supraventricular. P for paste appears only when paste mode is on in scanning criteria window. B for aberrant SVPB. Q for questionable or unknown. T for T-wave. To relabel in the page window, click on the beat to be relabeled, select the appropriate setting for the mode field, and then click the appropriate relabel button. To relabel multiple single beats to the same label, click on the first beat, then press the Shift key and click on each additional beat. A blue highlight box surrounds each of the beats to be relabeled. Click the appropriate relabel button. This method does single beat relabeling only. To relabel a string of beats to the same label, click on the first beat and then drag across to the last beat. The beat turns magenta. Then click the appropriate relabel button. This method does single beat relabeling only. To undo a label, click the Undo button. The labeling reverts to just before the last relabel. Turning AFib on/off. If a patient is in intermittent atrial fibrillation or flutter, you can disable the SVPB counts and relabel that region as AFib. To do so, select the ECG by dragging across. It turns magenta. Then click the AFib on button. All the selected beats turn green, indicating that they are relabeled as AFib and not SVPB. To undo the change, select the ECG again and click AFib off. Inserting a beat. If while you are reviewing the ECG in the page window, you see that a particular beat is included in the highlight box of the preceding beat, it means that the beat was missed. This is usually because of very low amplitude, but sometimes because of low slope. To force the system to count the beat, you can use the Insert button in the Expanded Page toolbar. To insert a beat, first click near the beat so that it appears in the Expanded Page display. Then drag or click the left-hand caliper to the location of the missed QRS complex. Click the Insert button in the toolbar in the middle of the window. The Insert window opens with the time of day of the new beat listed in the first field and a beat label in the morphology field. Click on the arrow in the morphology field to display the list of label choices and make your selection. Then click OK to insert that type of beat where the left-hand caliper is. To exit without inserting a beat, click Cancel. Saving sample strips for the report. As you review the ECG, you could choose to manually save sample strips for the report. The 7.5-second sample strips are printed as full-sized 25 mm per second ECG on a background grid. To save a strip, click on the beat you want at the center of the strip to move the highlighted box there. And then click the Keep button. The Keep window opens. The description field contains the current beat label. To keep that label, leave the field as is. To relabel the strip, either type the label in the description field or select a label from the scrolling list. Then click OK to save the strip. The Keep window also includes two heart rate fields, HR, which equals the heart rate of the background rhythm on the strip, and HR2, which is the rate of the run, VTAC or SVT on the strip if there is one. HR2 equal to 0 means that there is no run on the strip. Both fields could be edited if you choose to. Make sure to make any measurements before you click Keep because the calipers are not accessible when the Keep window is open. Once the label and the heart rate fields contain the information you want, click OK. To save strips of an event longer than 7.5 seconds, drag the cursor across the ECG to be saved. The selected ECG turns magenta, and then click Keep. In the Keep window, you can enter the label of the first strip in the series and then click the left button, which indicates how long a time period to be saved. Subsequent strips in the series will be labeled continuous x/n, meaning the strip number x out of the total number of n strips in the series. To save multiple strips, all with the same label, click on a beat at the center of the ECG to be saved. Then hold the Shift key down and click on another beat. Then click Keep. In the Keep window, click the button labeled N strips to save all the selected examples. Click the button labeled 1 strip to save just the last beat selected. All saved strips will have the label in the description field. Change it when appropriate. Because the strips are likely to have different heart rates, no heart rate fields are presented. If you decide to close the Keep window without saving any strips, click Cancel. Measuring an expanded page. The two blue vertical calipers that appear in the expanded strip in page can be used to make a variety of measurements. To measure, drag the calipers to specific locations on the ECG, or click on the ECG to move the closer caliper to that location. To move both calipers while keeping them the same distance apart, click on the Both checkbox in the center toolbar and then drag or click them to a new position. Click the Both checkbox again to move each caliper separately. To measure the heart rate on the strip, place the calipers 2 RR intervals apart. The heart rate appears in the HR to RR field. To measure an RR or PR interval, place the left caliper at the start of the interval and the right caliper at the end of the interval. The time between them appears in the time field. To keep the calipers in the same locations as you move through different screens of ECG, click the checkbox next to Lock. The calipers will stay in the indicated locations unless you move them again. Click again to turn off. To make ST measurements, place the left caliper in the isoelectric portion of the PR interval and place the right caliper where you want the ST segment measurement to be made. The vertical distance between where the left caliper intersects the ECG and where the right caliper intersects the ECG will appear in the ST field for each channel, labeled ST1, 2, 3.